Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Brian Damage. Hello. Welcome once again to our discussion of Inside Number 9. This week, of course, we're looking at this week's episode, The Curse of the Ninth. So, I'm Enchanted Essays. I make film reviews and video essays, mainly on films and TV shows. Okay, so George, do you want to go next?
Hi, yes, my YouTube name is Jetro, but obviously I'm called George. Yeah, I make videos about League of Gentlemen merch, which is a bit nerdy, but I'm planning to also do some Inside Number 9 reviews soon. So yes, that's what I do. And then I'm guessing Soapy can't
Brilliant.
talk.
And yeah, I think Soapy's mic is still not working. Soapy, feel free to if you connect to YouTube, you can join along in the live chat.
Or you could do a little like a summoning circle and like possess one of us and talk through us.
Yeah, possess one of us. But yeah, maybe try turning it off and on again. I don't know if that would work. But yeah, anyway, so George, what's your overall thoughts on Curse of the Ninth?
Oh my god, I loved it. Okay, I know I said this about every episode. And every stream I'm on, I'm like, oh my god, I love this. But I've watched it 3 times, and you know what? It's done the important things for me for Inside Number 9 episodes. It's good on rewatch. It hasn't I've enjoyed it like a lot. This is the only problem I've had a difficulty with this series is the trolley problem, which is on the rewatch. I wasn't enjoying it as much, but this episode didn't have that. I was like rewatched it, still loved it, still was like, oh, this is very cool. I think that's because the twist isn't the main part of the episode, and the twist, the quote on twist of the woman dies. It's not really a twist. You sort of see it coming, You see it from far away. So it's not like a big scary thing. And I don't know what else there is really you could say is a twist for the episode. I think it just is really good. I think also the mix between like the incredibly like serious elements of it, like the suicide, and then there's like the brilliant performance from, I don't know who the actor is, but the one who played the maid, I found her really funny in this episode, and I felt like it just really worked. I think this episode was perfect, really, and it's one of these episodes that I think I don't know how they would expand upon this, but I would love to see them do a whole. And I'm not a fan of period dramas, but this little bit, I would love to see just a period drama about this weird sort of folklore world, maybe like a folklore Inside Number 9 period drama thing. That's what I want. That's what this episode made me want. And yeah, because the little thing about me, I hate period dramas. I find them all really annoying. But this episode, I didn't find annoying. I found it actually really good. The period drama aspects of it never drew away from the actual meat of the episode and what was the actual plot. And I think that's what the problem is with most period dramas, is it draws away from the actual plot. It's just brilliant. I really liked it. So yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I've seen quite a bit of I think so. People can join us now. Hiya. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello. It's now working. Sorry, that was taking a while.
That's all right. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, hello. My name is Soapy, and I make reviews about weird and wacky movies and music and all that kind of fun stuff. But I've recently been introduced to Inside Number 9 by Enchanted Essays.
So this is your second episode, wasn't it?
It's my third episode.
Oh, your third. What was the other one?
The first one was the one with the found footage. The second one was the one with the escape room, and this is the third one.
Ah, yeah, of course. So yeah, what did you think of it?
I really liked this one. It was a bit of it was a bit mysterious in terms of like plot and stuff. A bit spooky, which obviously I'm a fan of.
Yeah, actually, I had been reading a little bit of sort of gothic horror short stories recently, and I think if you showed this to someone without them knowing what Inside Number 9 was and told them that this was an adaptation of a short story from 1912 or whenever it was, they would believe you.
I mean, Curse of the Ninth is a real myth anyway. So
Yeah. Oh, of course, you're an expert on opera and stuff, aren't you?
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I'm a fan. I'm musically inclined.
Well.
What operas do you like? I know this is very sidetracky, but I'm really curious.
Which type of opera are you talking about? Because there's lots of different kinds of opera.
I didn't know this.
My personal favorite kind of opera is like comedy opera, because I'm sorry, the tragedies are just, they're too much. Okay, they're too much. They take it too far. But the comedies, it's just fun. So
Is there any opera that you suggest? Because I've like stuck to the the main popular ones. Like with I don't know. I can't think of the exact names, but Carmen and I'm awful with names. I'm forgetting them, but you know what I mean. Like I've stuck to the main ones. What other ones would you suggest?
would you want any in English?
I don't mind really.
Well, if you want to get into like any English opera, the most famous duo for English opera is Gilbert and Sullivan. That's what the movie Topsy Turvy is about. The movie that's come up a few times in this in these live streams. But it's just like essential. Most of the operas are like just very, very British comedy opera.
Oh,
So
nice, yeah.
I would warn you that like don't watch versions with the original versions of the librettos, please, for your sake, please. It has a lot of inappropriate language that's not acceptable today.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
Well, yeah, it's good to know. I mean, yeah, I I've been to the opera before, but I was really, last year I was like really into it, and then I sort of lost my place with it. But yeah. Anyway, back to the episode.
Yeah. Oh, although by the way, back to opera.
Oh, sorry.
Does Babes in Toyland count as an opera? I can't remember who it's by. I only know of it because of the Laurel and Hardy film of it, which I know is a very, very loose adaptation of Babes in Toyland. But I can't remember if that's supposed to be an opera. Soapy, you're on mute.
Uh,
Okay, looks like Soapy's still having trouble with the mic. Anyway, let's have a look at the Soapy's disconnected. Oh, never mind.
awful technical
Okay.
problems.
Yeah. Let's see. Rock opera is bearable. Yeah, I love rock operas. I haven't really covered rock operas. I mean, I appeared in George from Headphones UK, not you, George, Headphones UK's review of Tommy, which is one of my favourite films. It was supposed to do it as like a collaborative review, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this style of review on that film because it's one of my favourite films. But I did make a cameo in his video on it. Hello, are you back?
Hello. Sorry. Sorry, I've been meaning to get a new microphone because this one is just really old and beaten up. So this shouldn't be an issue in the future.
Oh, that's not a problem. Yes, let's go back to the comments.
Isn't
but
Gilbert
stuff-
and Sullivan just musicals rather than operas? Okay. It's sort of like the prototype of the musical. It's more like a musical. It's more like a modern day musical than the other styles of opera that are out there. But like, I would consider it opera. It's like It's like the precursor to some musicals.
Yeah, light opera would it be called? I don't
Yeah,
know.
operetta, light opera, that kind of thing. It has
Okay.
like rapping in it, so
Have you seen many
Well,
operas
I know.
live?
I've
Sorry.
seen a few live.
Oh, nice.
Okay, back to Brian Damage. Thank you for joining us again, Brian. I had a feel of a Gatiss influence, probably to do the in the past thing, but it was also a bit more scary. Yeah, I must watch more of his horror stuff. I think the guy who plays the curse in this was in one of his. I think I saw in his IMDb. I thought whilst watching it, not knowing about the Ninth Symphony thing, that it was like a classical composer iteration of the 27 Club, musicians who die at 27, of which there are quite a few. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that. So, yeah, 27 Clubs, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. Those are
The guy from the
three
Rolling
that.
Stones.
Ah, yes. I've forgotten his name.
Kurt Cobain as well.
Oh, yeah, Kurt Cobain. But yeah, I see where you're coming from there. Amy Winehouse, yeah. Hi Josh. Hi guys. I hope you're all good. And I had a feeling that this episode gave me Susan Hill, the Woman in Black vibes. Oh, I haven't seen that. I've heard that's good. I've heard the stage show's really good. The stage show for Women in Black's really good. But yeah, definitely, yeah, it gave me major gothic horror vibes. I think you could easily convince someone that this was based on a real gothic horror story from the time period. They've got the genre down really well. Yeah, I want to see it too. I think that I had seen some people saying, oh, it doesn't feel like a regular episode of Inside Number 9, and honestly, I don't really see where they're coming from there. Apart from, of course, it being a period set one, but
I do
yeah, I think
see
people
what they're
saying
saying.
it's different, maybe structurally. I don't know.
I understand what they're saying structurally and like whatever look wise, except from the night scene. Basic because no, I understand what they're saying. They just don't complain about it. I don't know. That's what I would say because it was a bloody good episode.
I mean, the thing is, I would argue that, like, maybe this is only because I've seen like 3 episodes of the show, but like it's an anthology series, so I don't think it being like too different from the rest of the show is inherently a bad thing. I mean, the title "The Curse of the Ninth" just kind of made me think of the Curse of the Were-Rabbit, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, well, of course they've just announced that the new Wallace and Gromit film, and Reece Shearsmith is going to be in it.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. I can't tell you. This Christmas, it's going to be an amazing Christmas. We've got Outnumbered, we've got bloody Wallace and Gromit. Everything's lining up.
One of my Twitter mutuals showed their shelf of Inside Number 9 merchandise also had a statue of Feathers McGraw on it, and they'd posted about it, and I went, "See, you've manifested it."
A bunch of people I know said that they were scared of Wallace and Gromit as children. They said it was like the robot dog. They said it was like the robot dog in like a close shave that really scared them.
No, I get
Well, with
that,
me,
but
it was other stop motion and claymation. I was scared of all stop motion that wasn't Wallace and Gromit, because I'm going to review it soon. I had my grandparents had a film on VHS called The Adventures of Mark Twain, which was released as
I
Comic
know
Quest
I
in
know the
the
one.
UK. Yeah, that terrified me as a child, and then I didn't trust any animation, any stop motion that wasn't Wallace and Gromit.
For me, it was more like puppets that were like really scary. Like any kind of puppet, like apart from Basil Brush
oh no,
and like Hacker from TVC. Those are the only puppets that didn't scare me. I was terrified of the Muppets.
what
I
about
was terrified of.
marionettes?
Sorry, what?
Marionettes, is that how you say it?
No,
Marionette.
yeah, it is a type of puppet.
Marionettes.
I hated those as a kid. I hated the talking head from Art Attack. I cried whenever that came on screen. That was terrifying.
Oh, I loved
It's
all those
scary now. It's
puppets.
scary now, that talking head.
These
I was
puppets. Oh, sorry.
sorry. I was scared of Trapdoor. Has anyone seen Trapdoor? I think my dad liked it or something, so I had it on VHS, and I think I must have seen it when I was really, really little. Because then, when my brother was about 5, he found the VHS and put it on, and I just refused to be in the same room as it. So I think I'd seen it when I was much, much younger, and then refused to watch it again. I was terrified of that.
No, I wasn't scared of Sooty. I wasn't scared of Sooty,
Oh.
but there wasn't that like one of the comment after that mentions how they love stop motion and The Nightmare Before Christmas. I really, really liked Tim Burton's films, but the thing that scared me in The Nightmare Before Christmas was the 3 children. Their faces were so scary to me. They were but
You know what?
I
Oh, sorry.
sorry, I don't know about Trapdoor, but does anyone remember the show Trapped, the game show Trapped from
Oh
BBC?
yeah, that was good.
That's also terrified me. That was really scary. I don't know
I
what's wrong
Yeah.
with people who make like kids TV shows in the UK. Like, do they just
Yeah.
not remember like what it was like being a kid, so they don't remember what would scare children?
It's weird themed kids game shows, it's like that and Raven. It's like, yeah, you better not fall off this log, otherwise you'll die, and these hooded creatures will come and make you disappear.
And it was just really
Not that
scary.
I was scared of
I
Raven.
mean,
Raven was awesome.
I mean,
But yeah,
obviously
I
now it's
should
like okay, they were
revisit
just
Trapdoor.
obviously now it's like okay, they were just taken off screen or whatever.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you're like, oh my god, they're dying for real.
I bloody love
Yeah.
puppets and children puppets and animates. Like, I love that. Joe 90, weird as hell, but it's like it was all marionette puppets. I'm gonna make a video eventually about it. It's got like heavy Cold War because they're very like, let's always like beat up the Russians and stuff. Those damn commies. There's literally a character in it, called Uncle Sam. I don't know, Thunderbirds. That's got marionette puppets in it. Did you ever know Grim Tales for Gruesome Kids? That like opening out
Of course,
that terrified me.
weird, vile, gross show. What else? There was. Oh, I loved the show. It also had puppets in. What's it called? Strange Hill High. Do you remember this one?
That one was scary as well, actually, but not in terms of like the actual visuals, but in, like the plots were just really strange.
Yeah, I loved it. It had Richard Arawadi in it, didn't it?
Yeah. It's
I
like
don't think I've
it's like the
seen that
nerd
one.
kid.
Oh,
I think maybe no offense, but I think maybe you're a bit too old to watch that one.
yeah.
Yeah. When
I
was
don't
that
think
on?
that that's an. I don't think it was on CBBC, but I don't think that's inherently a bad thing that you missed out on that show. I don't know. It wasn't like in terms of visuals, it wasn't particularly scary, and you could even argue that the character designs were kind of cute, but like just the plot lines were just so bizarre. Like there was this one
But I
episode
love that.
where like the whole episode was just like a nightmare, and like one of the characters was trying to escape, and then there was another one where there was like a clay clone of like one of the characters. I don't know, it's just really a very strange show. It's not a show that's like very scary or anything, like, but just a lot of the episodes would just make you feel like, what the hell did I just watch as a kid? Like, what was that? But then you had to keep watching. I don't know.
No. I thought it was amazing. I just searched up the wiki. The first series was 2013, and the second one was 2014. I loved it though. I thought it was so cool.
I would have been 15 by then.
Right. Well, it's amazing. And
also, sorry, I know we're kind of already off topic, and this is very off topic, but like, I just wanted to say, you know how I was saying before, like, oh, I recognize Rick Mayhall, and I don't know where I recognize him from.
Yeah.
I just realized that he's Drop Dead Fred last night. It just came into my head last night.
Yes, I saw the film a few weeks ago. I thought, well, there's 5 Fridays this month. I've got my out of context video that I can play, but I'll try and review Drop Dead Fred. I'm sure it'll be a nice, quick film to review. No, I'm saving it for next year. That's that's how
my parents
thoughts I have.
My parents love that movie, so like, and I, from my understanding, like, it wasn't particularly well received either, and I don't remember it being that bad. It's just really cheesy and 90s.
I think it's complicated. We're gonna have to move on from Drop Dead Fred because I will be here forever. But I'll talk a bit more about kids TV, and then I'll go back through the comments about the episode. Scaring kids is the essential maxim of kids TV shows in the 70s. I'm putting together an exhibition about it. Oh wow, that sounds brilliant! You know, and Rick Mayall's Grimtales. I can't remember if you commented under that one, but yeah, that I think had an episode at the Museum of Moving Image or something. But yeah, that sounds awesome. I'd love to see that. Anyway, lots of Smith and Pemberson's, Gatiss and Dyson's influence came from kids shows in the 70s and 80s. That they're the same age as me, and it's somewhat comforting when they use those references. Well, of course, the one that sort of references kids' TV shows, well, not really kids' TV shows, but television of kids' television would have been Wise Owl. That's a very creepy episode. That's based on public information films. It's very unnerving.
Well, if it's a public information film, of course it's going to be unnerving.
Yeah.
A British public information film. Basically, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Let me see. No, I was fine with Morph because it looked like, well, I could, even though obviously it wasn't the same designs. I think because it kind of looked a bit like Wallace and Gromit aesthetically. I trusted Morph because I think it was reruns of it they showed in the middle of Smart rather than new original ones. I think they showed original ones later on CBBC when I was a kid. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Smart ones were old ones from older shows. But yeah, I think that's all the comments about kids TV. Yeah, let's go back to talking about the episode. Brian thought it was a great episode. Jitesh thought it was a great episode. My dad, who's 77, rang me and told me he went up to bed after watching it and checked behind him a couple of times. I'm not surprised. Yeah.
It is a scary one.
When you someone put a screenshot of the guy, because of course the curse, you only see flashes of him. But someone put a picture up of him, and like someone should replace it with Richmond from the IT crowd.
Oh my
that would
god!
look
Yes.
perfect.
I was thinking that the whole time. I thought that is just him.
Yeah. Hello, Box Office Poison. Lovely to see you, Moxie. A very M.R. James-esque episode. Oh, who's that? I'm not very good on my literature and things. But if it's a Gothic writer from the time, I agree.
He's
hello,
some
Ross.
nerd who went to King's College apparently. So I just saw his Wikipedia page. Oh, he was known for writing like ghost stories and stuff. Maybe I've read something that he wrote and then I just didn't know it was by him.
Yeah. Brian, about what's his name? From the IT crowd, Richmond. I totally had the same thought. I said to my wife, "It's Richmond too." Yeah. M.R. James wrote a lot of stories that the subject of Mark Gatiss' Ghost Stories for Christmas series. Oh, I didn't know that. Ross talking about being disappointed by this episode. I found it a bit conflicted in its themes. Ooh, I definitely love you to elaborate on that because yeah, I mean I didn't have the greatest grasp on the plan of the widow and the lawyer. And let's see, Lillian and Dickie Van Arse, which is a great name. I didn't even sort of register the name when I first watched it, and then everyone was joking about that name on Twitter.
One thing that I thought was what's with the names in this show being really dodgy, in this episode being so dodgy?
Yeah, I can't think.
Because of that name, I was just like, okay, interesting. I can tell what tone this episode is going for.
Right down us.
Yeah.
That it? Was that the name?
Pardon?
What? Wait.
We're talking about Steve Pemberton's character being called Dickie Van Arse.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I was like out of it for a second. I was like, what is the exact name? But yes, Dickie Van Arse. That made me laugh.
Yeah. I like the gag where Reese's character keeps getting the maid's name wrong. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, there was a lot of focus on names in this episode.
Hello, Tim. M.R. James is the master. I should check out some of his work then. I suppose you mean like the master in the literary sense rather than the character from Doctor Who. Anyway, let's go through character by character. So I'll start off with the least important character, Somerset.
Oh, I like.
I'm sorry. Devonshire, played by Hayley Squires, who Reece Shearsmith fans may have recognised her from the film In the Earth. Have either of you guys seen In the Earth?
No.
No, I know. I've watched that thing you made, but I haven't gone on to it. I will eventually, though.
Speaking of like stop motion animation, she looks kind of like Mrs. Tweedy, but as a person.
I see what you mean.
I get that,
especially with her hair like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was my first thought when I saw her. Oh, it's Mrs. Tweedy.
Yeah, she's really brilliant in the Earth. So yeah, it took me a minute to recognize her, but I was so happy when I realized who it was. I don't think I like the supernatural episodes as much, nor do I love the gothic vibe. I think that it was trying too much to be both comedic and horror, but the comedy didn't land and it wasn't very scary. And why was there so much innuendo at the start? I see where you're coming from, but I think it worked for me. I think that the because it's the innuendo makes everything quite awkward, and I think that sort of awkward comedy can sort of provide tension and contrast with the horror. But I do see what you mean. That's the only aspect of it that didn't feel like it was an authentic, horror from the time period. But
I'm not sure that Ross and I can be friends now. I'm sorry, Ross. I liked you in the beginning. I'm not sure we can be friends now.
Ross and I are already divided because Ross has refused to watch League of Gentlemen or Psychoville, unless that has changed since then. But yeah, he we have. Let me hate.
No,
you're
no
welcome
League of Gentlemen.
Yes, we then had to.
What?
I know Ross, you Discord, and then we had to explain to him why we kept telling him to piss off.
Oh my! How? Come on, get on it, mate. Please, for all of us, because League of Gentlemen is my favorite show, and it's brilliant. Come on, just watch it all. Come back to me next week, and we'll have a great laugh. You'll go, my God, I was so wrong. I needed to have watched League of Gentlemen. I am enlightened. My third eye has been awoken. I can see all. That is what the conversation will be like.
Yeah, I see what you mean, Ross, with there being so much stuff to watch, but yeah, it is hard to explain how good League of Gentlemen is, because it starts off as a sketch show and it becomes so much more. But yes, hate away, Ross, hate away. The last thing I want to be like is be like one of the people commenting on one of my videos saying, well, actually you're incorrect, because the thing that you said is bad is actually good. I actually got a comment like that under my review of Filthy Rich and Cat Flap from a few weeks ago, of someone saying, and I gave it like a positive review overall. I did say recommend checking it out. I did say that it was underrated. And they said, well, actually it was really good, and you were wrong because you said things about it were bad, but you also said it was underrated. And like, yeah, it can be both. I don't think it's perfect, but I still think it's underrated and doesn't have the appreciation the show deserves as a whole. Yeah, and I gave the nicest review. There's only 2 other reviews of it on YouTube that I think, and mine is the nicest. So that particularly amused me. I do get a few saying, particularly underneath my Sergeant Pepper video, I think. Apart from people who tell me, well, actually, this video is pointless. It's Sergeant Pepper film failed because it was shit. Like, yes, I know. It's a video about why it's shit. But anyway,
that's painful.
I mean, to be honest, if something's just badly made, that kind of makes me like it more, to be honest, as we know.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of the stuff you've covered, so
I mean, it's not that I think that like it being bad makes it like technically good, but I mean the fact that they're trying so hard and failing makes it like weirdly charming.
Yeah.
I mean, not with Sergeant Pepper's specifically, that was just bad, but I mean like just in general.
Yeah. Yes, I agree, Ross. Soapy's gothic vibe is immaculate.
Thank you.
Ross, I'll make a deal with you that if you don't like the first episode, I will eat my own shoe. Better get chomping then, Josh. How edible is your shoe? If it's licorice, then it surely won't be a problem. Lots of laces, not enough sole. How about a cakey shoe? A shoe cake? A cake that looks like a shoe? But anyway, so yeah, I going back to the character, yeah, I absolutely loved her in The Earth. I think that's the only thing I've seen her in, and yeah, think she did a good job. I think it's a nice little character. I mean, she's got quite a different accent in this, so yeah, did a good job in that. So not just her accent, her voice sounded quite different. It was a lot deeper than it was in India.
She's just channeling the best voice type. What can I say?
Yeah, I love how she just seems like she's like polite but pissed off.
Don't flatter
It's like,
yourself. That was a great
yeah.
line.
Yeah, she was brilliant though. Just absolutely every bit in the like you know, with the bit where she was basically spelling it out with, you know, marker to him, and it was like, I love that bit because it was like, you could see, I felt like she was just slowly thinking, come on mate, get it, come on, like, you know, fucking draw the lines, you know, what. And he's
Yeah.
like slowly lays
Make
down
sure
what.
you don't trip over the spade in the garden shed. Why would I trip over it if it's in the shed? Here's the key to the garden shed. Yeah, I agree. Tim Haley Squires is great. Brian again. I like that the maid was inconsequential, then became integral. Yeah, I see what you mean. But yeah,
She's great.
and
She was really
then
great in the episode, though. Helped like bring
yeah,
I don't
it's
know,
fantastic. Let's go
a
to
lighter note to the horrific details. I think if an episode is just
and this
dark
bit with
and
the puzzle
horror,
was so funny.
oh yeah. I think if an episode is just dark and scary and horror-y all the time, and it's just like scary, horror, and like there's no time for the audience to breathe and like understand and really be like, holy moly, what is going on? So you got to have that kind of lighter moments, the more funny moments to, I don't know, let the episode breathe and be its own, you know?
I agree. I think light and dark in most things, in almost everything, works really well. Yeah, I love the puzzle scene. Yes, Joshua Williams also posts reviews. Yeah, they're very good. I must catch up on them. I haven't seen them in a while. But yes, let's go to another sort of supporting role. Dickie Van Ars, played, of course, by Steve Pemberton. So yeah, what did you guys think of him?
Yeah, I thought he was good. I didn't think he was, not in a bad way, but I thought he was sort of, I liked his look. I thought he had a good look to him. I liked his outfits throughout the episode, but I didn't really think he had a interesting role necessarily. I felt he was more there to sort of lay down the information before moving onwards. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think he had really a character within his lines as so.
Yeah, he was mainly there for exposition. It didn't feel like it wasn't, you know, poorly done exposition or anything, but you know, all characters have some sort of function. But yeah, he was pretty much there to do that role, really, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he was nice to see, but just yeah.
I mean, he just kind of looks like your average, like 1885, 50-year-old man. You know?
Yeah, definitely. So
I mean, I like his outfit. That was the main thing that I noticed.
Yeah.
When watching the episode.
It says a tuning fork's used to accurate too. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, nice.
Wouldn't surprise me that they did their research, the production team. I think it would have been Eve Barr doing the costumes again, who's done costumes for all of their shows, and has won awards for it. It's really fantastic costume designer, and it's weird because you note even the shows that are their shows and episodes that are relatively ordinary, you still notice the costumes of the characters. You know, I've got a lot of mutuals who do like League of Gentlemen cosplay and that sort of thing, and you know, apart from Edward and Tubbs and Papa Lazarus, the characters do feel very ordinary, and their costumes aren't very extravagant, but they still have such a distinct look. But anyway, yeah. Tim, I wonder what the main influences of this episode was. Yeah, I wonder as well. I'm guessing just sort of gothic horror. I think it's mostly ghost stories, and I have the feeling the works of M.R. James and Susan Hill. The comment about blind people having a more sensitive ear for tuning pianos is interesting. Yeah, I remember in a Friday Night Dinner, they had an episode of the blind piano tuner, didn't they? I'll just add George back in.
That trope has actually been in a lot of things that I've watched. A blind piano
really?
tuner. Yeah, that's been in all British things, funnily enough. But like that's what I've seen that trope in like many, many different TV shows, where like a sitcom or something, and then like this guy comes in to tune the family's piano, and he just happens to be blind.
I think it is fairly common.
Yeah. In the 19th century and after World War One, it was seen, bad joke, as a career for those blinded from disease or injury, as it was thought, as mentioned, they had an attuned ear. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Greencock in Friday Night Dinner. Oh, that was his name.
Garth
But yeah, that's interesting.
I'm actually not sure how true that is in general, but you could assume that they would have to rely on their ears more. So I understand the assumption.
Joshua's just saying, I just want to let people know that I haven't recorded my review for this episode. Been a bit in a creative mood all week. And I have a date in a week, so I've been planning that. Well, best of luck for that. And I look forward to seeing your review. Tim, again, the acting style was deliberately stilted in a good way. Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean, and not as in that the. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they were relatively reserved, but I think that was sort of in character. Which meant that for the moments of horror, I think that worked better. I reckon that Reese's character was the first fully sighted piano tuner they had in the house. They had tried to ensnare a previous piano tuner who owned a dog. Yeah, or you never know. Maybe that was the reason why they needed him for the plan. They needed someone who would notice the sheet music and be able to read it. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that, but yeah, but yeah, I am still confused with what their original plan was. So their original plan was to get the maid to dig up the symphony, but also to get the piano tuner involved, and also for the piano tuner to want to write the rest of it, because that would have also had to have been the plan. And would the plan have been to then blackmail him to write it just to blackmail him for stealing? I mean, I'm not saying this isn't like a criticism. It's probably just me being dim and not getting it. rather than an issue with the script, knowing me. But yeah, any more thoughts on this character?
Not really. I think simply because he was mostly an expository character, like I don't really know what else I could add.
Okay, well, let's move on to. Oh, who should we do next? Should we do the widow or the piano tuner next?
I want to do the widower.
Widow.
My Wi-Fi is a bit choppy, so if I disappear randomly, that's why.
Not a problem. Not sure if it's about the hearing thing. Soapy loves movies. Probably quite an antiquated view based on the opinions of Victorian/Edwardian men's preconceptions. Yeah, possibly. Okay, so what did you guys think of Lillian, played by Natalie Dormer?
I thought she was good. I thought she was quite interesting. Well, not interesting, but fun. Like, I don't know, she was cool. I liked, as we say, the puzzle bit earlier was really good. And she did seem a bit mastermindy later on when she was like revealing this plan. But in the end, I did like it when it all went wrong, because I don't know, it's nice to see that a bit of, what do you call it? Justice. That's it. Justice to her. But yeah, she was really quite good. I don't know. I thought she was quite good in the episode. As I said, not my favorite supporting role. Obviously, I preferred the or not supporting role, guest star. The other one was my favorite guest star, but she was, I think she was essential to the episode. To keep the episode, pull the story along. So she was quite, I think that sort of can be what happens is in these sort of episodes, is maybe that the people who have got to drag the episode along, sort of like Steve as well, sort of loses the ability to put as much personality into the character. But I definitely think she had some fun bits. As I said, as I mentioned before, like the jigsaw bit earlier was really fun, and it was really fun because of both of the actors and both of their responses.
Yeah, I thought she was brilliant. I think the only thing that I may well have seen her in something else, but I think the only thing I've seen her in is I think she was a character in Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. So I'd have to check, because I saw the behind the scenes for that years ago. But yeah, I think she was a character in that. I think she was one of the nomad fortune teller people. Yes, I've just checked. It was her. By the way, sorry, what was that?
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, I knew I recognized her from somewhere. I just can't think of where. I don't remember if it was Game of Thrones, but she has a very familiar face to me.
Yeah, I remember seeing her in the behind the scenes for Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance, because that had a really good behind the scenes documentary. By the way, I'm doing a live stream series like this for Dark Crystal on Headphones UK's channel. We've already done most of it. The final episode is on Sunday. But that means
modern series of Dark Crystal?
Yeah, we've been doing like a live stream series like this on or I've been doing it on Headphones UK's channel. And he's actually interviewed Becky Henderson, who was the puppeteer for Deet, I think. And the voice of some of the supporting characters as well.
That show's so cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. I was so gutted when they cancelled it. They cancelled it the day after it won an Emmy. I was so pissed off.
Why did they do that? Why
I
do they
think it was
hate people?
for this one, it was the cost, and like I hate it for that, but at the same time, I kind of understand because I think it was the most expensive series Netflix ever made, and it would have had to have been a tentpole series, you know, like something like when Disney Plus came out and the people were just watching Disney Plus for The Mandalorian, or people who just got Netflix to watch Stranger Things. It would have had to have been like that big a series. It would have to be as big as Stranger Things for it to be for it to have been worth them making a second series financially. The person who commissioned the series was fired, I believe I'm right in thinking, for commissioning Dark Crystal Age of Resistance because it was so expensive. But that doesn't mean I'm not still really pissed off. Tim again. Today I read the Wikipedia page on the Curse of the Ninth. The Curse of the Ninth superstition originated in the late Romantic period of classical music. I like the fact that she was the one that got killed because she wanted to get money for writing the symphony, even though she didn't do a thing. Whereas Reese had a pure intent. Yeah, that was interesting. I do love the ones where someone gets their comeuppance. According to Arnold Schoenberg, the superstition began with Gustav. I know they said the guy's name in the episode, but I can't remember. Gustav Mahler, who, after writing his 8th symphony, wrote Das Lied von der Erde. Yes, spooky. With writing the symphony, even though he murdered the maid, he wanted to benefit the world with completing the 9th symphony. Yeah, that is true.
I mean, it's kind of a very the means justify the ends sort of plot line in this respect. Because I really was expecting him to like get some comeuppance for that.
Yeah. Yes, I mean it's kind of. I mean, you know, murdering someone is quite extreme. Yes,
Yeah,
pure intentions, but the murder is quite extreme.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend such a method if you want to write a symphony, but you know, still.
But it
Each
is
their own. Everyone's got their own artistic method.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone goes about it in their own way.
You know, that's the thing. That this is sort of Steve Reese's method. They've killed 58 people making the series.
Well, people have been saying there's a cinema screening in London that I didn't manage to get a ticket for the last episode, where they're going to show the episode in the cinema live whilst it's being broadcast. And there's no information about this apart from the title. Like no pictures, no poster, no summary, no nothing. And people are like, are they going to murder us? So that's the running joke on Inside Number 9 Twitter at the moment is, are they going to murder us? You know, once they've got us all in this confined space.
My friend said his theory for the final Inside Number 9 episode is they're going to just look dead into the camera and say the lyrics to Revolutionary. Is it Revolution 9? Number 9.
You know, I did say a while ago. I think it'd be great if they did an episode inside Revolution 9. Which, yeah, I do actually like it. It's an acquired taste, but it is a sound collage rather than a song. I think it's supposed to just. And
it's incredibly acquired taste.
Yeah, it does create a purposeful sense of discomfort, which would be how I'd describe Inside Number 9 in general. Yeah, it creates a sense of discomfort, but it's very interesting. Although they did, I believe I'm right in thinking they've made Inside Number 9 sober, so maybe that's why it's better than Revolution 9. Going back to Gustav, what's his name? Then he wrote his 9th symphony, and he thought he had beaten the curse, but he died with his 10th symphony incomplete. Oh yes, I stated by Bumpton in the episode. The grave digging scene was funny. Yeah. Although the bit where that woman got I'm gonna get it wrong now. Is it Devonshire or Derbyshire? Devonshire, that was it. literally had to check on IMDb then. Yeah, the bit where she gets buried alive, that was very creepy. Sartorio Rossi, hello. It was very tightly written, and I thought it was a very satisfying episode. Yeah, like I said, I think the things I'm confused by in the plot, I think were minor, but with just me being confused. But yeah, I they weren't things that like bothered me with the story. That's something sometimes you can not see the forest for the trees if you focus on that kind of thing too much. But yeah, I agree. It's very good.
Sorry to interrupt, but isn't like Derbyshire where Pemberley House is, or where they filmed Pemberley House? Isn't that where that is?
Pemberley House. What's that?
It's the house from Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
That's the only significant thing I know about Derbyshire. Sorry, everyone from Derbyshire, but it's just what came to mind.
There have been a couple of very dark deaths in Series 9. Yes, I'd say probably all of them, apart from Mulberry Close, have been quite dark. So yeah, Control Alt Escape. That's.
I mean, there wasn't a death there technically.
True, but I would say it was a dark. It did end with a hopeful ending. But I mean, I think it was just quite thematically quite dark. But yeah, the other ones, I think it has been darker than. Like, I don't think the episodes themselves have been darker than can be expected inside number 9, but I think the amount of them in a row.
Yeah, and also I think Mulberry Close was actually pretty light-hearted.
Yeah, that was definitely pretty light-hearted. But yeah, I think in general it's been the series as a whole. Series 9 has been relatively dark, I think. I did that for cinemas across the UK. Yeah, me too. They're showing the last episode. It's wonderful that the whole episode is allegory regarding finishing the 9th, and that's what Steve and Reese are doing. And it was an essay on fearing the end of creativity. Yeah. I mean, they if you see Reese Smith's done a few interviews where there's one clip I can think of where he said, and then we could finish series 9 and then I can die. And that's not that I don't think he still loves the series. I think he absolutely does. But yeah, it can't be easy having to come up with all those ideas.
It's his magnum opus. It's his magnum opus.
Pardon?
It's his magnum opus.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's incredible that it's managed to keep going for as long as it has, and the fact that it's kind of had almost carte blanche. I mean, there are things that they have been told not to do. Apparently, they wrote. I don't know if it'll be plodding on, but apparently they wrote a musical episode, and they were told that the budget would be too high, and then they shelved it.
That upsets me.
Yeah, the only decisions I know of, creative decisions I know of that they had to change because of budgetary reasons was in the trial of Elizabeth Gadge. The reason why the audience are told to leave the trial is for budgetary reasons. They were told they could have like half the hall full for the whole shoot, or they could have the hall full of extras for just the beginning of the episode. So that's what they did. And they just sort of wrote the extras out of the episode. But I think the show is quite cheap overall, because of the whole one location thing. So I think that probably helps. But yeah, I've mentioned it a few months ago when I talked about it. But I went to a screening of Comic Strip Presents in London. For this screening was of GLC and Hunt for Tony Blair.
right.
And yeah, so this is the first one. So Jennifer Saunders and Stephen Mangan and Peter Richardson were there. And someone in the audience asked a question about something about television being more tame or something like that. And I think Jennifer Saunders said, well, no, actually it's not the creatives that are the problem. It's the studios not giving them the money, to not giving people permission to do what they want to do. When in our day, they were just like, you're the comedians, you'll know what you're doing. So and then Stephen Mangan chimed in and said, I think the only people working in television today that I could think of that are, given the freedom to that the studio have confidence in is Inside Number 9. And I was thinking, yes. But yeah, I did also go to one since then with Alexi Sale, and that was another one in London, in Hackney. I might try and go to one of the Nigel Planer ones because they're finishing the tour this month. That was the Strike and Bad News tour, but with the Castle Donington set from More Bad News, Frankenstein onto the end of Bad News tour. Which
I'm less of a fan of Bad News tour. I feel like it's a bit like what do you call it? You know that film?
Spinal Tap.
Yeah, I felt it was just like Spinal Tap.
Well, it actually came out before Spinal Tap. It was filmed around the same time because, of course, Spinal Tap was entirely improvised, whereas Bad News was scripted and had a very tight script in terms of, I've got the script book for series 1, and it has pretty much no changes at all compared to the broadcast version. So yeah, I think I like both, but I think Bad News Tour, the original Bad News episode, I think that was better. I think that was better representation of the sort of the relatable experience of it being just ordinary people in this failing band, which I think is probably the main thing, apart from the sort of the style of humor that sets it apart from Spinal Tap. But I do prefer More Bad News because I feel like it builds on the characters and because of course it's 1 hour instead of half an hour, so they have more time to develop the characters, and the conflict isn't between like them and the crew, it's just between them, and that builds up across the episode. So I that's why I don't like the fact that they Frankensteined on the them playing at Monsters of Rock at the end. I think because that was the build up. And also if I want to see More Bad News in the cinema, I'd rather just see the whole thing. I mean, I love the Warriors of Genghis Khan music video. It's such a catchy song. And in terms of compared to Spinal Tap, they do a better job of sounding shit. So and I say that with affection.
I'm not gonna lie, Spinal Tap literally don't even sound bad. Like I actually kind of like the music. It's kind of catchy.
I listened to that album so many times. The Spinal Tap album, it's brilliant. Yeah,
I think that maybe the problem is just with me, because maybe I wasn't a fan of Spinal Tap either. But
were you not?
No, I've watched it, and I understand it's very important, very relevant, and important for the history of like mockumentaries and all of that. But personally, not my cup of tea. And I think that probably
we can be friends, George.
Listen. I can win you over with other shows, okay? Opera. Remember, we got the opera still.
all right. Maybe I'll let you off. This time. But be careful.
And also, I think maybe a problem is that the series that has Bad News has loads of really good episodes in it, like Summer School. Fuck, I love that episode, honestly.
Yeah, I love that as well. Actually, again, I've got the script book for series 1. I don't think they did a script book for any other series, but I think that the stuff that was in the script that isn't in the episode makes it better because it does a better job of establishing who's like been to the summer school before. And like I actually think that episode, out of all the episodes I've seen series 1, 2, 3 and a little bit of 4, I think that's the series where I'm like, I would have loved I think that could have been I think that could be a play. I think if that was like fleshed out a bit more, I think that could easily make a really good play.
I love the bit with the where they burn the character who looks like John Lennon but sad. I love that bit.
Yeah, I love Lords of the Flies, so it's kind of a comedy version of that. So I do love that episode. But yeah, great comment here from Cellar Street. The crucial difference, talking about bad news, that is usually mentioned is that Spinal Tap is successful American, bad news aren't. Typical British story. Yeah, I think British humor is generally, more pessimistic and more about failure. I mean, I would say Spinal Tap are failing, but they're like a band on their way down rather than a band that are never going to make their way up. And I think with Spinal Tap, the influence is like real bands who are successful, whereas Bad News is like the experience of like being in bands. So one's kind of outside looking in, and one's sort of inside looking out. If you see what I mean. But by the way, there's a Spinal Tap 2 movie coming out. Oh yeah, I think I saw something about that. I know there's I think there was a sort of sequel but I think it was like mostly a concert film or something. I haven't seen it.
I have an idea of where you got that news from. Shameless plug.
Yes. Did you mention it in your video?
Yeah,
yeah, that was your video was brilliant on it. But yes, definitely, Soapy, definitely check out Bad News. Like I said last time, it's Brian May produced the album, and the cover of Bohemian Rhapsody is one of my favorite covers ever because they make it sound terrible on purpose. I absolutely love it. Expect the worst, hope for the best. Yeah, that tends to be my attitude going into reviewing. It's not exactly that. What I say it is have high hopes and low expectations. Just go into it wanting to enjoy it no matter what, and don't try and expect too much of it because I think that's why I didn't like the League of Gentlemen's Apocalypse when I first watched it, is because I had both high expectations and like a certain expectation.
It's so weird, that film. Like, it's difficult to enjoy on the first watch because of how that shit crazy it is. It's not at all like the regular sitcom where they've got just the regular jokes and everything's like fairly normal. They're like, no, okay, we're gonna do a film now. Let's chuck it all out and let's do something completely different. Which, fair play on them.
Let's do like a Pirandello style existential crisis.
Yeah, exactly. It's so different, but I do love it.
Yeah. Let's see. Try and get back to comments. Bad News films are lots of people's favorite comic strips. Yeah. That's. I mean, if you see, there's on the IMDb page for Comic Strip Presents, it shows an advert for the DVD box set of I don't know if it's the UK or the US DVD box set for Comic Strip Presents, but the advert for it is entirely Bad News. Bad News Tour and more Bad News. They don't show clips from anything else. But I suppose the other sort of most famous one is Five Go Mad in Dorset. So I'm guessing maybe it was
I do really
international
like that
trailer because whilst it was, I think the books were published in the US, the famous Five is a very British thing. And it's not as popular now.
Sorry, but I just want to ask: is the watermelon like significant at all?
Oh, I'm guessing the I've got watermelon too. Lots of people have been putting watermelons in their username on Twitter because to show support for Palestine. So I think that's probably that.
Okay. I was wondering, because I don't know, I don't go on Twitter that much, so
yeah. So yeah, if you've been seeing them around, that's why. Anyway, let's try and get back to the episode. Tim again. Guillermo Morales likes directing horror. Yeah. I don't pay that much attention to who directs what, but yeah, no, he has done a few of the horror ones. I think he's probably the director who's done the most episodes of the show. I'm not sure. I think they had one director for series 1. I can't remember, but anyway, there have been a couple of action scenes in series 9 as well. It must cost a lot in rehearsal time and stunts. Yeah, that would inflate the cost of it. Yeah. Wasn't the classical music created by Christian Henson? Yeah, Christian Henson scored most of the show. Most episodes of the show. So I'm pretty certain he would have. I recommend. He has a YouTube channel and he did a fantastic vlog, with some of which I included in my video on it, about Deadline, because he actually performed the score for the episode live, which was a fantastic idea. I'm convinced the final episode will actually be live performed at the viewing and aired later in the night. That would be cool. That, or they're just herding them all in a room so that they can kill them. That seems to be what everyone thinks it is. That sounds exciting, having them perform the final episode live. Yeah, maybe. You never know. You never know. Anyway, yeah, let's get back to this episode. Do you guys have anything else to say about Lillian, this character?
No, not anymore.
She seemed kind of nefarious at first, like very sneaky, but I can't say that I was expecting her to die, so the twist was definitely effective for me.
Yeah. Again, this might be me being dim, but I was confused. Like, why was the ghost of the composer saying, "Well, why didn't my wife finish it herself if she's not scared of the curse?" His wife doesn't play piano. Does she? Does she play instruments at all, or is it just a manifestation of Jonah imagining of Jonah's doubts? Maybe that's why.
Sometimes ghosts just want to be haters. They just want to be haters. That's all they do.
Oh
You're
yeah,
dead.
maybe they're just shit stirrers.
Yeah.
They're causing drama.
It's entertaining. Come on, like you've got to be lying. Look, when you're alive, you've got consequences, but you're dead. Who's gonna care? You're stuck there. Might as well have a fun go at it.
Yeah. Yes, Tim again. She was excellent at facial expressions and giving secret glances to Steve's character. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that. Yeah. Okay, let's move on finally to. There's a good shot of him. Oh, we haven't talked about the composer. Let's go to a bit with the ghost. So yeah, what do you guys think of Eddie Marsan as Nathaniel? What's his name?
He was a hater. What can I say? A ghost after my own heart. Like, I can't fault him. I'm joking.
I'm sure he has a long career ahead of him on scripted reality television.
Yeah, just being a hater.
Wait, sorry. Yeah, yeah, the ghost was really cool. He's in The World's End.
Yes, that's him. I think they did a really good job, the hair and makeup team, of giving him that very sort of, I don't know, composer hairstyle. But yeah, we don't see much of his character. But yeah, fantastic performance. It's very chilling, and you really do get that sense of absolute terror in the beginning. and he's and he starts seeing the curse. Okay, and finally, of course, you have to talk about Reece Shearsmith. Of course, it's a Reece Shearsmith character-centric episode, and last episode was one that just focused on Steve Pemberton's character. I believe I'm right in thinking that the final episode is supposed to be a two-hander. I think it's supposed to be just the two of them in the last episode, which will suit it. But anyway, so yeah, what did you guys think of his character?
I'm gonna post my thoughts in the chat because that's the only way I can really convey my thoughts on this character.
Okay. Yeah, I see where you're coming from there.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems like a kind of character that's very rash in his decisions. But I mean, he wasn't unlikable. I don't think he was unlikable or like unsympathetic in any way. Surprisingly.
Yeah. I definitely, I think I have a lot of sympathy for him. He sort of bites off more than he can chew. With his own stupid decisions. But yeah, as usual, it's a really brilliant performance. He he did a good job of feeling quite awkward and out of place, I thought. George, do you have any particular thoughts on this character?
I liked him. Yeah, I mean, I know I said I'm not very good at like talking about people. I always go, he's interesting. I like him. Oh no, he wasn't very good. No, yeah, he was all right. Yeah, I don't know. He was a character. I don't know. He felt all right. I don't know. It was like, I think the plot was much more interesting than any specific character. Like the story of the ninth curse and all that, and him getting wrapped up in this was much more interesting than who he was, in it all. He was sort of a guy who just got stuck in a difficult situation. But he didn't seem, I don't know. He didn't.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel as character centric as, say, Boo to a Goose.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even the trolley problem.
True. He was there and he guided the plot along, but he wasn't, I don't know, super important to, I don't know, the characters. Yeah. Like I just said, I just repeat myself I'm like a broken record. But yeah, he was good. But Reece is always quite good. Except when he's not, then he's bad.
When is he bad? I'm gonna have to get my pitchfork.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out at least. No.
I assumed that was like a pun about him playing the villain, but apparently not.
Listen, I'm sure he's got one bad episode. I'm trying to. Seance Time. I don't like him in Seance Time, but I don't like Seance Time at all.
Enchanted Essays. Should we 2v1?
No.
Considering what he said
Seance
earlier.
Time is a bad episode. Factually, I'm sorry. Anyone who goes, "Oh, I like Seance Time," is wrong, and they are just wrong. It's all right. Everyone can have different opinions. I'm fine with that. But some opinions are just factually wrong. And if you say you like Seance Time, you are in that category. He's bad in it because everyone's bad. It's not like there is a specific. I don't know. Oh, he's bad in 3x3 because he's not in it as well.
Well, what did you why didn't you like him in? I mean, why didn't you like Seance Time as a whole?
Just I don't find the plot at all like gripping. I didn't like any of the characters just seemed a bit like really 2D. It is my least favorite episode. Um, may I say I made a list of like episodes I didn't like, and I rewatched them and I gave them a chance. This is the only episode that I rewatched and I was like, no, this is still bad. I've rewatched because I originally I wasn't a fan of the harrowing or this is first watching, by the way, must understand the harrowing, the understudy, and Trial of Elizabeth Gouge. I watched it a second time, went, you know what? These are actually all right. Seance Time, awful, painful to go through because it's just not very interesting, like the characters and the plot. You sort of see it coming from ages away. And also, I know this is just a problem with a sort of, they didn't have enough budget, but the CGI of like, is it CGI in that episode with the child? Or the child bit with the where it pops up, it just all looks myth, like just not very good. I don't know. I'm probably gonna make an episode, like make a video about how much I dislike Seance Time because Seance Time is I would say the worst episode. Yeah, the worst. Because all the rest, I can admire to an extent.
Well, I haven't rewatched it because I haven't rewatched most of Inside Number 9 yet because I only finished the whole series about a week before the new series started. And for me, it's Death Be Not Proud, but that's because of how much I love Psychoville, and I feel like my opinion on Psychoville would have really clouded that first viewing. I feel like I need to give it a second chance, but still, that's the only episode where I feel like I really didn't like it, and I still feel that if on a rewatch I still might struggle with it. Yeah.
Well, Death Be Not Proud used to be like a favorite episode, even before I didn't know before I hadn't heard of Psychoville. I was like, oh my god, I love Death Be Not Proud. I mean,
That must be such a weird episode to watch in a vacuum.
Yeah,
I can't that must have been like
the ping pong balls didn't make any sense. I was like,
yeah.
What's going on here? You can't fit a ping pong table in this flat. I was really confused then, but I did really like it because Reese playing a woman and, Clara from Doctor Who. I don't know. I liked it. And also, it kind of had Tom and Jerry vibes, and I liked Tom and Jerry a lot. I don't know. You can watch it without watching Psychoville and just be a little bit confused. Love's Great. Someone says that the only episode they didn't like was Love's Great Adventure. I would say, when it comes to Love's Great Adventure, I understand what you're saying, but you're wrong. That's all right. But let me explain why you're wrong. No, I'm joking. I am joking. But, like, with Love's Great Adventure, it is, I would say, the special one of the series. Like, every series has that one episode, which is, like, the unique one. So we've got Mulberry Close, we've got Wise Owl, we've got 3x3. I can't think of what Series 6 would be. Probably Wuthering Heist. And Series 5 to me is either Death Be Not Proud or Love's Great Adventure because it is very different to everything else. So depressing. So, yeah, just different. And I understand where that comes from because when I first watched it, I struggled watching it because of how I would say heavy the episode was. It was a very difficult episode I felt to watch, and it was something that I thought when watching, this could pull away from just people who like Inside Number 9, because Inside Number 9 is just very dark and depressing, but that seemed to me just two very real people, and it was just very depressing. So I understand why Love Great Adventure might not be your favorite from like a Inside Number 9 perspective, but I still think it is amazing as an episode because of the fact. Sorry,
it's very much a kitchen sink drama, wasn't it?
True. I mean, I'm not usually like a fan of them, but I really just got hooked into it. I think that's maybe why it was because it was a one-off. Like it was only like, this is it. There's not going to be tons and tons into it. It's just a one episode thing, and so it's quite short. You know, it had that sweetness to it of getting that resolution at the end and being able to watch it is in one. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. What's your thoughts? Is there any episodes you actually don't like?
Are you asking me or Soapy?
You, because
okay,
well,
I think
three.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I think I think it's only Death Be Not Proud that is the one I didn't like. I mean, there's the Harrowing and Last Gasp, which I think I didn't dislike them, but I don't know, I wasn't a fan of like the pacing of Last Gasp, like just towards the end. And the Harrowing wasn't a fan of the pacing, but I think I'd prefer it on rewatch. But
I love the first half.
those are very minor issues I have with them.
Right.
But yeah, it's only Death Be Not Proud is the one that I really didn't like.
I think I'm only having this with the newer series. They do seem to have some weird, like, bizarre issues with, like, okay, this is gonna sound odd, like, it's a weird thing, and I know it shouldn't. It doesn't. It won't put most people off, but it doesn't really. I sort of think, come on, George, stop thinking about this. But for example, in the night scene, you can see like Reese has got like a bit of a glow around him. Like there's some weird. I know this sounds random, right? Very clear most of the time, but there is just some shots that look not. The clothing is almost gleaming out. I don't know what the problem is actually technically, but I feel like those little, and this might sound, I know people might, I don't know, sacrifice me if people actually pay attention to this. Technically, I think some of the quality might have been lost, not story wise, but I think just some bits. I don't have this with the new earlier series where I just go, that looks a little odd. I know this is such a random thing to talk about and such a random thing to be iffy about. I mean, it is such a great show, so you have to be iffy about random things. But I know this odd complaint that. But I do see that every now and again. Just I don't know. I feel like it is just the technical stuff is slightly going down.
I don't know, because I saw them out of order. I think that it might be that the show just becomes like the show as a whole becomes less shocking because you become, even though twists still surprise you, you become accustomed to their voice and their tone. Because I've seen them out of order, and I don't think they've gone downhill, though. I do know people say that, so I don't know if they actually have, or if it's just
I don't mean
sort of
majorly, by the way. I only mean like
to the.
I don't mean like majorly. I probably only mean this by a slight, very slight. You know, not a thing, not enough for me to be like, put off by the show. Not like how I felt like Doctor Who has kind of gone down a little bit, and that has put me off. I mean, Inside Number 9 can't really put me off because it is just, as you say, bloody amazing. But I feel like it may be getting a tad weaker in parts. But that's...
I have seen Last Night of the Proms, which is probably the most divisive episode, and I
love that one.
I didn't love it, but I did appreciate it. I'm not entirely sure if that they pulled off what they were trying to do, but I thought it was definitely one that had me asking questions and had me interested in it.
Sorry.
No,
I have this problem. I don't know when to come in.
It's all right.
With Last Night at the Proms, I think I like it because I don't think it is actually, and this is going to sound weird here, too heavy about what the politics is. It's more about the people within the politics. And this sounds like really weird, but like the thing is about politics is it's just like a bit. It's hard to. You can easily take away the people from the politics, and obviously politics at its whole is just about people, how you govern people in different ways, and how and your different policies in how to improve people's lives. But it has taken away in the personality of it. I don't whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know, but maybe it has made us feel better at talking about these politicians because we feel less. We shouldn't be as harsh because I don't know. People might have seen them as like people before, and now maybe we're taking that back. I don't know where I'm nattering right now, but you know what I mean. Like it, but I feel like that episode is about the people within the politics.
Yes.
Like the people. Like Reece Shearsmith's character within that episode, he reminded me of my old history teacher in the things like he used to like, not in the fact that he was flamboyantly gay, but in the fact that it was the sort of thing where he would want to look liberal, but he might not have actually been actually liberal,
Yes.
And this is the thing. It's like a lot of people might vote liberally, but don't have a liberal mindset, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, sorry.
Definitely.
I just left for a second, so what did I come back to? Sorry.
We were just continuing just discussing lesser loved episodes of the show. They've done a few classical music episodes. Last Night of the Proms, Diddle Diddle Dumpling, Curse of the Ninth. Yeah, I hadn't really thought of that with Diddle Diddle Dumpling, but yeah, I need to rewatch that. That's like I said, most episodes I've only seen the once.
I must have seen that episode at least like 9 times.
I mean, if you want to do any more live streams, especially with the classical episodes, I'd be happy to join you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking of doing that. I'm thinking of doing something like that with the League of Gentlemen as well, but I don't know if I'm going to do it episode by episode or do something different.
What about series by series?
Yeah, it's definitely something I want to write video essays on, but it would take me quite a while because I think I would have to do at least like 3 or 4 video essays on it. And obviously doing like those back to back will probably kill me. So yeah. But yeah, it'd be nice to sort of talk to some fans. I'm trying to get the frame with the jump scare. There he is. So what did you guys think of the curse played by James Swanton?
Doesn't he work in IT?
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Give a bit of a friendly hug.
I keep these lights blinking. I don't know what they do. That was
I think
he's yesterday.
I think he vanished to a basement.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't know. I think it was well done for the character. It was spooky, and
Yeah.
I didn't find the jump scare too effective, but like I was expecting it. So
I didn't think it was like scary, but I liked how you. Well, I didn't think it was too jump scary. I think it was more like it was on screen, and you were like you could tell the threat was there, and it was meant to be more. I don't know, just be like, oh, it's there, it's coming to get you. I
Yeah.
wish. I don't know how they could have done it better. I think there was definitely problems with it, but like in the fact that it is very much a shadowy figure, and I like a nice shadowy figure being the spooky bloke, but I don't know how they would make it less figurey because I didn't think the fact that it was a real human, well, not human, but it was, there was a human playing him, sort of pulled away from it. I don't know.
Hmm.
the anthropomorphization of the character sort of removed the scariness. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that the
I
curse
mean,
was a thing. But yeah, maybe. Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from.
But I don't know how you would fix that really, in the sense
I'm,
like
I,
sorry.
sorry, I was going to say. I mean, in stuff like Final Destination, I know very high bar of comparison here, but in Final Destination, they sort of just make death this sort of like invisible force or whatever. I personally didn't find that scary, but like a lot of people apparently did, at least for the first movie. But I think that may have worked as like a curse thing, or like maybe like a literal like shadow more than like a like a person with like a face, like a shadow person.
Yeah, that could have been good. I mean, it's a difficult thing because I don't know. Maybe this is the problem. We haven't got the episode where it is a shadow, so I can't tell if it would be better or worse.
And I
I
mean,
know that sounds.
just spookily dressed people is scary for some people.
Hmm.
As much as I wish it weren't the case, it's true.
To me, the scary bit was that that shot with the broken neck at the end.
Oh
That
yeah.
was. I'm not going to show it even. It was just ugh. Actually, I'll just share the screen. Let me see. Get the tweet up. Yeah, there's the Inside Number 9 meme page on Twitter. Asked producer Adam Tandy some questions about the episode. How did Natalie Dormer become involved? Is she a fan? It says Natalie really wanted to do it. She had recently worked with Guillaume. How's the broken neck effect achieved? A prosthetic makeup appliance made by Rowena plus VFX. Did most of the budget fall in this episode? Not, but Christian's department obviously bigger than usual, so that's the music. Should we thank for the gorgeous lighting? Sean, cinematography, and Ross, grading. Share huge credit here. So yeah, I thought that was some interesting stuff there. It is television by nature, doesn't deliver the wallop like theatre or cinema can. Oh yeah, especially talking about the jump scares, yeah. But yeah, I know a lot of other people found them scarier than I did. For me, the most unsettling thing was Deadline, which is surprise to no one, I'm sure. But yeah, I think
I'm quite wimpy. I find that scary too. Especially at the end, I remember watching it and jumping and going, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. It's so unsettling, Deadline. Just the silence is so unsettling. I was once waiting outside, and it wasn't raining, but it was like mist that was so heavy I couldn't have my phone out the whole time because the water would just collect on it. So, but I had the episode downloaded onto my phone, so I just listened to the episode. And yeah, it was
I've
just
done that before.
so it was just so atmospheric. All of the silence and like the humming sounds that Christian Henson put in the background in real time. It was all brilliant. Anyway, so any final thoughts on the episode?
It was good. I'm not sure which episode I would call my favorite. I definitely really like this one because of the topic. But yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
Petro?
yeah, it was really cool. Rating of it from like, I mean, it's up there. It's I would say it's like higher middle. I think there was definitely aspects that could be improved upon, but really good, honestly. Hooked me. It's great for rewatching. I've watched it, as I said, about 3 times already, and I've loved it every go. And the episode as a whole, I just think it's really good, and the plot's really interesting. I mean, yeah, the characters aren't as good, but hey ho, you've only got 30 minutes.
Yeah, I thought it was I thought it was good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I want to read more Gothic horror anyway, so I really enjoyed it. In terms of the genre that they and aesthetic they chose for this episode. But yeah, just as an episode, I thought it was really effective at the genre it was trying to do. So yeah, wonderful. So I think we'll wrap it up now. Thank you very much, guys. Do you guys have any recent videos that you want to promote now?
No, I don't think. But I would please subscribe to my channel. I'm planning to do more League of Gentlemen, but also work on some Inside Number 9 reviews and try and maybe go over the whole task of reviewing maybe every episode, but I'm not sure. Maybe series, because that might be easier. But yeah, so please check out my channel if you want to see a bit of that.
I would please watch my most recent review video, which is my review on Battlefield Earth. I'm pretty proud of it. I had some trouble while uploading it, but I think it turned out well regardless. So yeah, please check that out and yeah.
Yeah, I can second that. Actually, it's a brilliant video. I had another Monkeys review come out today. Obviously, not everyone's interested in that. Last week, I came out with a video that was a Rick Mail in Grim Tales with Rick Mail out of context, which obviously I don't usually post something like that in an out of context video, but I just was thinking about it whilst I was watching the show, and it just so much joy coming from the random stuff. But I mean, it's not doing as well, but that's what I expected. But next week I've got another review out, and definitely come back and check that out if you like the Monkeys, the Young Ones, or Madness.
I love Madness. Great band.
It's in our house in the
Yeah,
middle of our
wonderful.
street.
Yeah. yeah, so you'll both be interested in next Friday's video then.
All right, I'll be sure to check it out.
Brilliant. So yeah, I'll be back on the stream same time next week, discussing the final ever episode.
Oh my god.
I think I
Oh,
haven't been
no.
in mourning as the same way other people are, because I've only just recently run out of episodes to watch that are new to me. I think it will probably sink in a bit longer, more so afterwards. You know, the pathos of the situation hasn't sunk in yet.
I'll sort of
yeah.
like cry after the final episode. Be like, oh, this is the end now.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Good night, Tim. Bye, Jitesh. And yeah, thank all of you for watching. Especially if you commented today. And yeah, see you same time next week. Bye.
Bye.